Welcome to this lovely old Edinburgh theatre that's now been converted lovingly into a restaurant. What they've done, the restaurant company though, is retain the character and features of the theatre and not ripped anything out. It's the same building, but with a different raison d'etre, a reason for being. And that's very similar to the Endeavour episode Neverland. It's like this building. The episode has three of Russell's favourite tropes: child abuse, incest, and gunplay. But it retains all the major characters and features of a very good Endeavour episode. Russell has given this episode a good reason for being, for existing, unlike many of his later episodes, which have the same tropes as I mentioned before, but he hasn't kept the character and features of the Endeavour world, and they don't deserve to exist or to be retained in any way. Unlike this building, some of the later Endeavour episodes with Russell's favourite tropes should have been condemned and not allowed to exist anywhere in the Morse universe. So, hi, I'm Chris. I run and write the website morselewsendeavour.com. Welcome to my review of the Endeavour episode Neverland, Series 2, Episode 4. So, from a once defunct theatre, we're now outside a major theatre in Edinburgh. And theatre is certainly a big part of this episode. There's a lot of it, but thankfully, it doesn't fall into sort of caricature or pantomime. For instance, we've got the main scene at the end with the shooting of Thursday. We've got the big scene with Bride castigating Thursday and Morse for investigating Blenheim Vale. He wants them to stop. It's a lot of theatricality in the episode. As I said, it's wonderfully done, wonderfully acted, and wonderfully written. Russell has written such a well-crafted script. And I know this might sound perverse, but it saddens me on watching this episode, because watching from 2021, after Series 8 has been on ITV, we can see how good these episodes were. This is from Season 2, of course, Series 2. And it saddens me because we know how well it can write, we know how well the episodes can be created, and we ask ourselves what went wrong. Because with this episode, with Series 2, following on from the great Series 1, we see that Russell managed to plant his flag on the great foundations of a great building in the Endeavour world. So, is the episode perfect? No, it's very difficult to get a perfect episode, no matter if it's Morse or Lewis or Endeavour. There is some problems I have with it, but I'll come back to them later. But there are so many good things to enjoy about this episode. I think in simple terms, wherein the relationship between Thursday and Endeavour really now has reached its apogee, and how they connect with each other. We see that where Thursday backs up Endeavour in his belief that something rotten has gone on previously at Blenheim Vale, and Thursday backs up Endeavour even after Bright vilifies them for investigating that whole situation. Thursday still wants to go ahead because he believes Endeavour. We also have movement in the Bright character. This really has now, this is where we get a change in Bright, because up till now, Bright has been not fully happy with Endeavour. He doesn't fully like Endeavour. He still thinks him being overly smart um, and not respecting his Endeavour's superiors, i.e. Bright. So for this episode, we still have, as you know, if you remember the episode or recently seen it, as I said, Bright is still gets angry with Endeavour. He still thinks he's out of turn in the way he speaks to him and the way he disrespects who he sees as important people, the councillor, Wintergreen, etc., as well, and also, of course, ACC Deer. But by the end of the episode, we have that lovely shot to look out for where it's nothing safe, where after Thursday's been shot, Endeavour's been arrested. And it's just that one lovely shot on Bright where you can almost see a change in his thoughts regarding Endeavour, feeling sorry for Endeavour being arrested. And there's nothing Bright could do in that situation. He can't interfere with what county is doing, county police. And also that with that part of him, he knows he has to allow this process to go through with Endeavour being arrested and obviously hoping that he will be released at some point and found not guilty of any charges. There's a slight moment before that as well, of course, when Bright puts his hand on Endeavour and talks about Thursday will be okay. He's in the best hands possible. So I think this is now, and as we know, we can look back that there is that change from Bright, which I think is a wonderful, nice addition that Russell has thrown in regards to the Bright character. Chocolate chip cookies, one of my, sadly, it's not good for me, one of my comfort foods. For those who follow my website and have seen some of my other videos, you know I've talked in the past about comfort episodes or comfort TV, but in particular comfort episodes within the Morse universe. And there's many comfort episodes in the Morse universe. You've got the likes of Death of the Self, Masonic Mysteries from the original Morse series, you've got Dark Matter, and the Moonbeams Kiss the Sea episodes from Lewis. And there's quite a few from Endeavour as well. But this isn't one of those. And for no other reason. It is rewatchable, there is no doubt about that. But it's so dark in its plot, its storyline. It's very dark tonally that it doesn't make it a comfortable episode to watch. The cinematography has a dark hue to it. The lighting, of course, has a dark tone. But thankfully, unlike later episodes of Endeavour, it's not dark to the point as where you can barely see anything in the scene. No, they've got it just right. It has a dark tone which imbues the whole episode. And that's no bad thing. It may not be a comfort episode, but it's certainly an episode worth rewatching, worth revisiting. Oh, hello, Colin. So as I said, the episode is uncomfortable viewing, but it is worth watching and even re-watching as well. And it has a great ending, great cliffhanger. But again, this is one of my problems with the episode, apart from a few others, which I'll now go into the negatives. Morse is in danger, and we do know that he can't stay in prison. We know that can't happen, and that's part of the problem with this episode. And as we stand here in 2021, Russell puts Endeavour in too much danger too often when we know nothing. He can't be killed, he can't be majorly injured, he can't lose limbs, he can't be kept in prison, etc. It's fine to have that done a few times, but Russell does it too often. As I said before, he also uses three of his favourite tropes in this episode: child abuse, incest, and gunplay. And the gunplay is a major problem I have. Now, the other two tropes, they're overused these days. They're there to elicit an emotional response. And that's why you see them in so many dramas these days, so many crime dramas. You have child abuse, because it elicits a major response from us all, of course. But gunplay to me doesn't fit into the Morse universe. And as we again stand here in 2021, we know Russell uses it very often. And that's probably my major problems I have with the episode. But saying that, it's a good episode. It's well worth watching. And for that, I would give this episode an 8 out of 10. I hope you enjoyed this review. I hope you like the rest of what I've written in my review in the post. Because if you go to my website, I'm not on it already, you will find information on literary references, the music used in the episode, the locations used in the episode, and much, much more. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again very soon. So I'm on my way home, and I realise there's two aspects of the episode, good aspects of the episode, that I missed. And one of them, I should be ashamed forgetting to mention it, because it's one of the outstanding elements of the episode, and that's the performance of Jack Lasky as Peter Jakes. As we find out, Peter Jakes was Little Pete, and he was at Blenheim Vale, and he's always been a favourite character of mine in the Endeavour series, and it was a shame that he left, because his character is sorely missed in the Endeavour series. But it's wonderful, especially during the pub scene when Endeavour goes to try and elicit help from Peter to go and help Thirsty, but unfortunately it's all too difficult for Jakes, and he can't do it. And it was a great performance by Jack Lasky. So my apologies, Jack, for forgetting that. Shame on me for forgetting that, because it was one great aspect of the episode. The second thing I forgot to mention was the humour. Even though there is, it's a dark episode, dark in tone, as I said earlier, there's still humour in the episode. Something it's sadly missing from the future episodes, the future from series 2, the future episodes, especially the 6th, 7th and 8th series, where it's really lacking in any major humour. It's lacking in any humour, especially series 7 and 8, which is a real pity, because humour is always a major part of the Morse and the Lewis series, and as I said, the early episodes of Endeavour, the early series of Endeavour. My apologies if the camera is jumping up and down. As you can probably tell, I'm driving and also I don't have my microphone in, so the sound may not be as good as it is elsewhere. But anyway, so that was I just had to mention those two elements of the episode that should have been mentioned, and certainly should not have been forgotten about by me. So definitely, well, I'm pretty sure that's all I wanted to say on the episode. Take care, everyone. Bye.